Alrighty, welcome back. I've got a couple of requests and comments about my videos, and I've a couple of requests were for me to slow down my video and basically explain or discuss my collection, basically narrate as I describe several details about my collection. So, and that's a good idea, and I definitely thank you for your input and comments. Again, I read every one of them, so. My collection, I've got about 54 figures with about 4 or 5 in the making. That means I'm slowly trying to find the kit to kit them out with. But my collection's basically based on this 1990s Hasbro, early 90s Hasbro German Prussian-esque uniform here, this figure. This is a figure that Hasbro, the only figure that Hasbro produced that was immediately recalled. They produced it, they sent them out to these stores and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden they've got a complaint. And apparently this person was either high up somewhere in the government or high up somewhere where Hasbro basically just recalled them immediately. The complaint was, and this is just, again, this is what I was told, the complaint was the verbiage on the box of this Hasbro figure apparently hit somebody wrong. It glorified the German soldier. It went into like his, brave soldiers protecting the homeland, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently, I think the person who made the complaint were confusing these guys with the German World War II of the Nazi Party. So I don't know if that's factual, but I think that's what it was. But Hasbro, in order to just nip it in the bud, they recalled them as many as they could. They destroyed all the boxes, and they put them in bags. And that's why for years you saw them in bags versus boxes, and they sold for $8, $9 a piece back in the day. I grabbed about 10 of them back in the late 1990s, probably 2000. I had about 10 of these I had made into a display. And over the years, I'd sold them off or whatever anyway. But I've just recently started collecting these now. I've been collecting these for about 2.5 years. And as you see, I've collected a few. And again, this figure in today's market is very mediocre at best. It's an older one. Hasbro cut corners on this one with the figure itself. The figure is basically almost a Barbie-esque figure. Very cheap. Elbows break, the hands snap off, you can't turn them, very hard to position into a pose. So that's why I'm slowly changing these out to Dragon and BBI figures and stuff. A little bit more realistic and easier to pose. So, anyway, but again, another claim to fame that Hasbro has on this figure, it is the first mass-produced figure to actually have a working bolt on a rifle. This actually, and the rifle looks so correct. It's very nice. Again, Hasbro surprises me sometimes, but it's got a working bolt on it. So again, it is a great work by Hasbro. The pickle hub is really nice for its day. Of course, nowadays you've got two manufacturers are making metal or leather ones, and again, that's a DID helmet. I wished it was silver versus the gold, but it's metal with the metal, the detailing on it. Anyway, but again, my collection's based on this, which is not very correct. It's loosely based on this time period, so I based my whole collection on that. And again, I wished I could take the corporal stripe off, but it just adds to the color pop. And again, I'm trying to just tiptoe and stay as close as correct as I can. So. And again, I've integrated several different manufacturers. A couple of different manufacturers make the World War I figure. Sideshow made one early war figure. You've got, I think, Elite Brigade made one. You had another really cheap one made. It had like, it was terrible. They sold for like $14, and they were just, and even the helmets they had were just canvas covers. No helmet under there whatsoever. So, but I'm slowly integrating all the figures into more modern, older Dragon, older BBI figures, only because you can find them very cheap. You can find one Dragon figure or BBI figure, nude figure, for $8. So, BBI or DID figures came out, and I found a couple of these. These were factory seconds and thirds. I was able to get 4 or 5 of them. The only thing I don't like about these uniforms is they're very narrow and thin. You can only put 1 or 2 different sized figures in here, and the uniforms are very tight. As you've seen in original photographs, these uniforms are bulky. They're made bulky, because one size fits none. Plus, they made them so you could wear warm clothing underneath. Very big pockets, very puffy, and again, that's just one of those things going from a 1-to-1 scale to 1/6 scale. I'm slowly adding detail. All the little details basically make your display. So I'm replacing all the older Hasbro stuff except for the helmet and weapon. I'm just trying to think of what else. Many other details is the head sculpts. Basically, any idea, if you're going to display anything, you want to keep that person who's looking at it, you want to keep their attention. So you want to reach out there and grab their eyeballs. And basically, my detailing is basically they're bouncing their attention from one small detail to another. So if you strategically plant these details throughout your display, you'll basically hold people's attention for longer than just a walk-by table scan and they're off. Especially when you've got other master collectors and historians and people that again, if they stop at your table or display and you know when you got them, because they just sit there and scan and scan and scan. So that's when you know you've done something right. So I've found some weapons. I found some that are printed. I had a little cleanup, but the bayonets fit, and they're really nice detailed. So I was able to get a couple of helmets that he sent me just to see if I was interested. And again, very basic shape, but I'm probably just going to get some covers, canvas covers, and put on them. Because the Germans figured out real quickly that when they got into the trenches and stuff, real quickly they started making canvas covers for their helmets. So, but again, it's just a conglomerate of different actual figures with pretty much the same basic uniform. And again, depicting the 1914, early 1950 German Prussian-esque soldier. Again, not correct. I'm trying to stay as closest to correctness as possible, but with the availability of stuff out there, it's very limited. So anyway, but hopefully that explains my collection. And I've got a wagon made by Dale Geyer, and I'm hopefully gonna see if he can make me a trailer for my wagon. So the next show, I'll have a pretty significant display, a couple of wagons. I'd love to get a cannon, a field artillery piece printed. I've seen some really nice ones out there, so I'm trying to figure out that. And I've got a couple of figures I'm trying to finish up. He's waiting on a head sculpt. He's complete. He's waiting on a head sculpt. He's complete. I think I just completed him. Sideshow guy, I'm waiting on a uniform, and another sideshow guy, I'm waiting on a uniform. And again, the availability on these uniforms used to be pretty good, but now they're drying up really quick. So, but definitely chime in with your comments. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Just keep it constructive. Again, thanks for everything, and then thanks for all your comments and thumbs up and everything. If you've got collections, it doesn't matter how small they are, definitely post pictures. I'd love to see it. So I feel like I'm the only person on the planet collecting these. So anyway, I do appreciate it.